Hello, everyone. We have Rubaina Singh with us, rarest of the rare score. She scored overall 8.5 with nothing less than 8. Listening 8.5, reading 9, writing 8, and speaking again 8.5. Congratulations, Rubaina.
Thank you.
Rubaina, how has been your journey in Canada till now?
It's been pretty interesting, bumpy. There have been a lot of challenges, but I think I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with my decision. For me, it was about a particular kind of education, exposure, and opportunities, and I think I've been able to get those.
So tell our audience, like, what do you do?
I am a criminal defense lawyer practicing with a firm in downtown Toronto. And I'm originally from Amritsar, actually, and I moved to Canada in 2013 during my undergraduate degree.
Wonderful. And you have been very, very successful as compared to what Indians have been doing and what images people have in India, that Indians cannot rise to that position. You've broken absolutely all the glass ceilings and have risen to the top position. It's absolutely great to see that.
No, that's very generous of you.
Rubaina, IELTS was a mandatory thing for you, right? When you went from here and when you have applied for the PR. So tell us about it.
Well, in terms of my preparation, I guess I spent, I think I gave the exam about when I first came to Canada, that was around 2013. And I had to give this exam again because of my permanent residency requirements. I don't understand that rule, especially when you have had 3 degrees from the country. However, in terms of preparation, I think I spent a total of 3 days. I focused on 3 things primarily. Understanding the layout of the exam and time limit for each part in section. Then second, understanding the format and the types of questions for each part, because that really determines the approach you're going to take while attempting the questions. And then third is practice, practice, and practice, because you really have to practice under time constraints to gauge your performance. That's just how I see it.
So how did you concentrate in listening? Because you are working throughout the day, and I think you have back-to-back meetings throughout the day, I believe. So
right.
Concentration is a big issue in listening and reading. So how did you manage that?
I honestly think whatever score I lost on listening was in that one section where I got a little distracted. I think, again, the key is practicing, making yourself, putting yourself in that environment where you're practicing without letting get yourself distracted. It's really hard. And with work, I think I really had to, I couldn't, with my workload, it was impossible for me to do both. I had to take 3 days off. And when I took 3 days off, my focus was largely on my preparation. So that's how I had to train myself to, focus. That's all.
And how did you prepare? Did you use the websites or did you use the material offline, online, to print the material? What all?
Right. So like I said, for me, understanding the layout of the exam was really important and how everything is laid out and understanding the types of questions. So for the test papers, I relied on the Cambridge book, which has a good series of questions, and it also has some practice listenings. And then for the formats and for sample questions and essays, I relied on the book actually provided by Webberz. I had an old copy, and then I think there were 2 copies that my mom mailed me, actually.
That's right.
So that was really helpful to get an understanding, because I really didn't practice writing at all. It was just understanding those formats. Formats are key. And then you can always fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. Rubaina, what kind of questions were you struggling with in reading? You there? Rubaina, you there?
Yes, sorry, you just froze for a bit.
Yes. What kind of questions were you struggling with in the reading?
In the reading, it was definitely yes, no, and not given questions.
My God. Crazy.
I know, it was just like, I don't know. I honestly, my mom told me that in the beginning, but I didn't think I would struggle that. But then when I started actually attempting the exams, I found them really like, tricky. So the way for me to go about understanding those questions was I watched a few YouTube videos actually.
Right.
So they just give you some tips how you can go about navigating such questions, and that was really helpful.
And what about writing? You scored a perfect 8 in writing.
Yes, and I think I could have done better if I really like focused on writing too much. Honestly, that was my least concentrated area. Maybe I was a little overconfident, I don't know. But I just looked at the formats, what the letters required, what the S's required, how I was supposed to organize the paragraphs, the word limit for each, and the basic essentials I had to meet to get the score. And I think I just wrote one essay as a practice question.
God,
Yeah.
amazing. Absolute great focus level. And your speaking is as it is wonderful, because I believe when you went from India, your speaking was 8.
I think so. I don't remember my score, honestly.
Looked at the background. It was 8 when you went from here. So now it's
Yeah.
going to 8.5.
Yeah, it could have been 9 though, right?
Exactly. It could have been. So do you think you goofed up somewhere in your speaking?
I'm not sure. Maybe just like being here and just talking every day,
Yeah.
because you don't get as much opportunity there. You invariably do end up speaking in Hindi or Punjabi more, with your peers or family. And I think constantly being surrounded by people where you invariably have to speak in English,
Exactly.
that really, I think, improves your language.
Absolutely. Because you've improved, I believe, by about 4 bands since the time you left India. It's a
Yes.
increment from 7.5 to 8.5. Overall, cumulative score increased by about 4 bands, which is extremely rare. Extremely rare. I think you come in the top 1% of the global scores who have increased this level, and 8.5 is actually in the top 0.5%.
Well, I disappointed a few people because they were actually vouching for getting a perfect 9. I was like, this is too much pressure.
My God. So what advice would you give to the people who are struggling with IELTS a lot?
I think like a lot of what I already mentioned, I think it's really important, to know how the strategy is very important, knowing how to prepare for the exam. So like I said, understanding the layout, knowing how much time you have, and practicing under time constraints, knowing what material that you're going to use. Make sure you already know the material you are going to rely on close to the exam, rather than figuring it out, what you should be studying. And then practicing really helps, like I said. And where the areas are tricky, maybe reach out for help. I know Webberz offers an amazing course, and I think people who are really, whether you want more intensive training or just bare bones basic, just tell me what the exam is about training, I think that people can really benefit from that course. And I think why I didn't need that again was probably because I took the course before, and my mom was largely able to help me a lot with preparation. But if she wasn't there, I think I may have struggled a little bit.
Absolutely true. Actually, your family has a hat trick, a perfect hat trick. Your mom scored 8.5 2 times, and you have scored it 1 time. So she's a perfectionist, absolute perfectionist.
Yes, I think she has a new profession in mind to start coaching for IELTS. So you may have a competition.
I told her, I said we should join hands and we should work together.
Yes, that's a good strategy. We should join the hands.
That's a good strategy, because she'll beat anybody. She's so
organized.
She's so focused. She's so organized. It's amazing. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. Rubaina, it was a pleasure talking to you. Absolutely a pleasure. And hope to see you soon in India.
Yes, I hope to see you soon too.
Thank you so much. All the best.